one likes
So
Wednesday
it's
afternoon.
whatever.
We're live now.
All
Um,
right.
Same thing though. Good morning.
What's up, guys? How y'all
Good
doing?
morning.
Well, we're live. Thank you everyone for joining the community call. Um, I didn't include the market lesson for today. I think it's like more of a chill call today. And we want to switch it up too, where we don't, have to have you teaching every call if you don't want
No,
to.
it's fine. No problem.
Um, but it's helpful for me because you have my full attention, so I get to actually learn something. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for joining the community call today. Everyone who joins and attends, there is a secret word that I'll announce or I'll drop in the chat during the call, and then you can use that word to redeem points in the factory and score some points. I'll drop it sometime during this call in the chat, and specifically on YouTube is where you will be able to find it. And then if you have your friends together, you can just have somebody on YouTube, have somebody in Discord, so y'all can spread the message. Hey Esther, thanks for joining. And so with that being said, I think we can get started and really start with a market overview of what do y'all see is going on based off, because we haven't met in 2 weeks. So based off of the last 2 weeks with the market, what is your sentiment? How do you see things changing? And has your strategy changed from 2 weeks ago? This is for both of y'all. Whoever wants to.
I would love to hear Keith's thoughts because I haven't even had time to join some of his calls, but I have been looking at his Discord, and things have definitely changed.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's it's good and bad. Number one, Bitcoin total market cap hasn't failed the uptrend line. It hasn't failed. This sucks. Don't get me wrong, but it hasn't failed the uptrend line. Going sideways for 5 to 6 months wasn't on my bingo card, but here it is. I think we could get another push down, but it's very sketchy on how far it can go. The reason I say that is key levels must be held, and I'm talking about must be held. If we use the CME chart, which is Chicago Mercantile Exchange chart, we found that it's a little more clean and accurate than most. What I mean by that is it's less herky-jerky, and it's given the most clear-cut data so far. If we look at that, then the 50-day or 50-week moving average is sitting at like 53.5. So if we hold the level we're at right now, cool. If we go to 53.5 and stay above that level, touch it, maybe go around a little below it, but get right back up above it, all is fine. It sucks, but all is fine. As far as the cycle goes, still pretty darn similar to what happened in 2016 and 2012, for that matter. You had a little bit of a run up before halving, a fall off after halving, and then around the September, October, November area, it started to recover. We're in that area now. Historically speaking, every single halving, Q4 has been great. We are approaching Q4 now. It sucks to be here now, sucking and dealing with the crap that we got, but the other bright side here is, as a very simple basis for investing, you should buy fear and sell greed. Fear greed index hit 22, which is extreme fear. So in extreme moments of fear, I'd like to buy. I want to sell and run away because that's the conservative me saying, hey, you should probably stop and walk away and be happy with what you got. The other side of that coin is me knowing good and well that every single Q4 has been great. And as we approach Q4, should I really be ducking and hiding? Or should I dig my heels in and deal with it, right? So for anyone who's on the fence, my advice would be, first and foremost, use the chart. Don't listen to anything I say. Go for yourself. Go find it for yourself and go do it for yourself. If you're unsure of what to do, sell a portion. Don't sell it all. Or potentially sell a percentage that you want to move away from because you think maybe that's a little too risky. And risk management, risk mitigation is very, very important. I'm personally trying to buy all I can. Every time I have a little extra money, I try to put some in. Everybody's got their own little side hustles. I have my own little side hustles, and I try to take every little bit of money I get from those side hustles and buy something. I don't think it's the right time to run and hide. Now, market is still crappy. Don't get me wrong. And I really, really wanted to see this thing close above 58 by the end of the week. It may or may not do that. It really depends on today, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. So, again, as long as we stay above the trend line, it's okay. It's ugly, but it's okay. If I see numbers like 48, 44, 40,000, anything like that, I have to pack it up and leave because it's probably not happening. That main trend line breaking would be the first time that ever happened for Bitcoin after a halving ever.
Yeah.
Including the pandemic. Even that didn't break the trend line.
You say the pandemic?
Yeah, I can't say the actual term because then you get marked. So
if
you add extra letters, you're fine. Including that,
okay.
That didn't even break the trend line. So if the worst possible occurrence caused it to not break the trend line, what are we expecting now to make it break the trend line for? You have to apply a little bit of logic to what you're doing on pretty much anything. Apply your logic and see, is it wrong if you challenge it? And if you challenge your own logic and you're completely wrong, well, then why are you trying to use that logic to begin with? I guess that's the better way of thinking about it. So it's ugly right now. I know it sucks. Right now, the market is going down as I talk. It's all turned red. This is another Friday where it's done that. We've had some good Fridays going into this. So could this be a market shift where we get better weeks and then bad Fridays? Well, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does this mean that, like, okay, so my novice trader mind is like, oh, well, this is when you're supposed to short?
Yeah, so I would have started shorting 6 months ago. You're getting down to the nitty gritty on the time you have left to short, but these are the most lucrative shorts because they're quick. And since they're quick, they come real fast. They go just as fast. So when you short like this and you think the market's going down short term, those are the most lucrative because they go fast, quick. But you have to really flirt with the line here because you cross the line and decide you're going to short when you're getting right near the end of the bottom. Extreme fear. Again, we're in extreme fear. When we get extreme greed, that's when I want to short.
Yeah.
We're way away from extreme greed. Now I want to try to compile buys and spot and short leverage longs. Sure, you can short, but you better really have it locked in when you're ready. Like, don't get me wrong, you probably make a little money on your short, but you're running out of time here. You know what I mean? It's just running out of time.
Yeah.
I've personally, I mean, to Keith's point, I'm kind of just waiting. I'm not shorting. Right? I don't really know. We didn't expect it to do what it did this past week, or at least not in the way that it did. And you just don't know how much slower it's going to go. And then, right, it's the 6th now. So in 12 days, almost 2 weeks, we got the Fed rate lowering. At first, after Jackson Hole, I was like, oh, this is probably priced in, because it had that jump, right, to 64. Then it went right back down. Now I'm completely unsure. Now I don't know if it's priced in. I guess long.
Are you breaking up? Are you breaking
Fading.
Oh man.
Well, why he's coming back?
Why he's coming back? Someone asked.
Okay, there he is.
Oh, are you back?
Am I back?
Maybe.
Kind of. See your face and then your laugh 3 minutes later.
Yeah, am I back now without the
without the camera?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, no, and I was planning the only the Fed announcement just because we know that that's kind of guaranteed, and we probably will see a little bit of a bump, but how much of it that's gonna lead to.
Oh Lord, he turned into a robot.
I know, it's trying to rug you.
He's got that good 4G right now.
Oh, Society. I'm looking at the comments. Well, I mean, while Robbie's going in and out, someone did ask, Hazma asked, what trend line are you referring to? I thought we could go to 44K and still be in a bull run.
All right. I don't know if I can paste an image. I can't paste an image. So I drew the trend line from 2023, the end of 2023 up, catching the wick that we got in August. And that trend line shows me that if I go anywhere below 50,000, you're in trouble. If I change the trend line and draw it a little bit differently, I get a different result. That's why I use the CME chart. And if I go to the CME chart, the trend line that I drew and the 50 weekly moving average are almost identical. And the 50 weekly moving average is at 53,500-ish. So if we hit that, fine. If we go a little bit below that, fine. But you can't consistently stay under that line, because if you consistently stay under that line, you're doomed for more down and more down and more down. You can't break a main trend and expect it to just pop back over and keep going. It could, but it's highly unlikely. Now, the thing that I would push back on and say that you're right on, we're in extreme fear. You can't stay in extreme fear forever. It's only a matter of time before it comes out of that. So I don't completely disagree. Just from the chart perspective, if it's below that, we're in a bad spot. And if you thought alts were in trouble now and Bitcoin goes to 40, you just watch what happens when it drops down that far. Oh, they'll go into absolute pits of destruction levels of lows. And I don't want to see that happen. I know a lot of people are in altcoins.
Yeah. Oh, and Hazma said, got it. Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. What Robbie was saying about mid-September here. I said this, and I don't like to be like bombastic and say stuff that's stupid and just like clicky or whatever, but this literally could be the biggest day in American history. Why do I say that? You have a guy who could be going to jail, a former president. That's never happened before. Never have they prosecuted a former president before. And on the same day, they're changing the entire economic structure of the world, not just the country, because the United States leads. Everyone else follows. And I know people are saying, oh, well, other countries cut rates. That's just because they plan on us cutting rates, not because they think they need to. They're just following us. If this is the case, you could have a pivotal day. The question, like Robbie said, where do we go? If we could just get back over 60, I wouldn't be entirely upset. Back over 60, give me the meeting and stuff to go through and all that. Back over 60 puts us on support, kind of sets the stage for the rest of Q4. But we can't come from a very, very low level and expect it just to magically go way up. That hinders our ability to go up. We need to be above the mess before we start. If you're below the mess, you drastically limit your gains. That's just the way it works. You're going to get caught in all these zones of sideways. This last 6 months of crap that we've dealt with, that's going to hinder us going up, because that's a big blob of resistance. And that big blob of resistance ain't going to go away. The farther we are under it, the less likely it is we blow through it. That's why I want to see it stay up here at these levels and not just fail off and be like, oh, it's fine, because it really won't be.
So when you say the day is going to be pivotal, you mean like in either direction?
Yeah.
Like,
and the couple weeks leading up will be the most important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this kind of makes me want to get on poly markets. If Trump goes to jail, I want to bet, like, then what do we think will happen with the market?
Right.
Which is so interesting to me, because it's like, yeah, it would be crazy to sell off just because Trump goes to jail.
Right. But like, you're using logic. You're using logic. How many people don't do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they use their emotions. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of emotional people out there. So if you're thinking about the people, I'm thinking about how bad people's decisions are most of the time and how emotional they get. I don't like to think about the people. I like to think about what's going on in the chart, because that's really not the people.
Still somewhat it's a big event. Yeah. So you got to.
Yeah, we have such a little effect on it. But if everyone did it, well, that would be different. It's a curious time, and a very, very pivotal time. I sound like a politician.
Very pivotal time, very, very important time in our lives. This is
It's
going
so
on.
stupid to say that stuff, but it's true, I guess, right? So
Well, it is what it is, you know.
yeah.
We got you back, Robbie. When we see you nice and clear.
Can y'all hear me? Am I coming in okay?
Mm-hmm. Better.
Everything's
Okay.
perfect. Yeah. It's good
We'll
to
see how
go.
long it lasts. But I did hear y'all, and I agree. Some interesting times. Interesting times. I am hoping that the Bitcoin cycle remains constant, though. I don't want that. I don't want that type of interesting time to happen.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much randomness for one lifetime.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If you're asking my optimal scenario, he goes to sentencing, they suspend the sentence, nothing happens. They just say, ha ha, I told you we were convicting you. They suspend the sentence, don't give him a sentence, and we go on about our merry way. The Fed cuts rates. They argue about it afterwards in the press conference, that he didn't do enough or that he did too much. And then we watch the market rebalance. That would be the optimal scenario for me. Rebalance, I mean, go back to above 60. Doesn't matter what I want, though. That's just the way I see it being the most optimal. The most abysmal. They send him to jail for 20 years or something stupid, and then they put a 1% rate cut in, which would far and away exceed what everyone thought and would have a massive ripple effect on the market, because you think that might be good, but it would be bad because the rest of the world didn't think we were going to do that. So they have to start correcting. And this creates a bit of a panic, which would push us farther. So that's the worst case scenario, in my opinion. I don't think they'll do that. I think it'll be a quarter or a half a point. Vegas has a quarter point as favorite, with a half point having decent odds, but not great, not as good as a quarter point.
Yeah. Well, do you? Well, I mean, do you think though that if they do 50 bips, because I mean, one of my fears is that if they do something like 50 bips, and which is a lot, that it will cause in the near term, like it has historically, it'll cause conventional markets to kind of freeze up a bit, and you'll see a little bit of a recessionary dip, and then it will go back up. If that happens, that people will de-risk crypto.
So that's a good question. We actually look back in history at this, and it's not really a full-on success rate of cuts with the price going down. Interestingly enough, it's when they overcut when the prices go down at first. That's what I was talking about. Because if you go back and look at it a little bit, like we see cuts. Oh man, let me pull it up real fast. It's just easier if I pull it up. I charted this the other day using the Dow. Let me see. All right, yeah. So they had very big cuts in 2007, but not at first. At first, it was a small minimum cut, and the charts did not go down. They continued up. Later on that year, they did a 75-point cut, and that's when things really went, oh! Right. Well, it only took a couple months for it to correct itself. That was the housing crisis, right? They kept it almost zero for a really long time. And you could argue your case, well, you kept it zero for a really long time and it ran things way up. You got to start raising rates at some point. You raised rates and prices continue to go up, and prices continue to go up, which is crazy, which defeats the purpose of saying, well, what happens when cuts get happened or what happens when rates get happened. Really, the success rate's about 40 to 50% on what's actually going to happen. That's why I have a hard time using it. It's really, really tough to look at. And people like to go to the two easiest spots, which are 2007, which is the housing crisis, and then 2020. Well, come on. I mean, like, that was the end of the world because of the flu. That was the end of the world. And literally the entire world's economy almost about to collapse because people were being degenerates. That was the two times that people like to bring up. And then a lot of people like to bring up the dot-com bubble. Go back and look at the chart. It took a really, really long time to go down. It didn't happen quickly. It was very, very, very slow. It was actually a slow bleed, kind of like Bitcoin's doing right now. Then Snap corrected itself in 2002 and never stopped. And you could say there was a lot of other factors in there that also caused that to happen in 2000, not just the dot-com bubble, but I mean, there was a war, there was terrorist attacks, multiple other things. Again, life-changing events that happened along with the cuts. It wasn't necessarily just the cuts, if you see what I'm saying. Just my take, by the way.
No.
I don't want anyone to think I don't think I'm Jesus. Anyone? I'm just a guy. You know what I mean?
It's a good reference point though, because I mean I appreciate that reference point in particular, just because a lot of things were happening, right? You know, and I think that's there's a lot going on.
And to your point, isn't there a lot going on now? Yeah. So could you argue that your scenario is correct? Absolutely, you could. This is very uncertain, as y'all can see. It's very tense. This is why I haven't slept in like 2 weeks, like 4 hours here, 3 hours here, because I'm like wired up over here waiting to see what's going to happen. I just need it to happen so that I can sleep.
Are you trading right now?
I'm an idiot. I trade every day.
Oh, okay.
Even when I shouldn't.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
I haven't taken a trade in the last week. I only bought some a couple weeks ago because I had an influx of a couple dollars of cash, and I was like, "Hey, I'm doing what I'm doing." I've got several positions I want to move on, but I'm stuck in them waiting. This is what happens when you don't do what you're supposed to do, and it'll be all right. Nah, I'm fine. I'll just wait, and then you get burned. This was a lesson that I learned last time in 2020. This is a great reference point for everybody. 2020, roughly this exact same time in 2020, the charts are going dead sideways, just like they were in 2016, just like they are now. It was very frustrating, very irritating, and I went ahead and sold a bunch. I sold a bunch, and I had one guy message me in the DMs. One guy, and it was like, "Hey, Keith, I want to talk to you. I think you might be wrong." And I was like, "Explain." He was like, check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Here's this. You sold here, and that was probably the right thing. But then like 4 days later, it flips back over. And I was like, well, I didn't buy because it was a little wishy-washy. He was like, I get it, but let me show you this. And I was like, dang, you know what? I think you're right. So I had to own that I was wrong, start rebuying my positions. And that was the beginning of the bull run. Like it was right there. And that's the same moment that we're in right now. Like within a month of the same moment we're in right now. And I hate to be the guy who runs away because it's a little bit too late to go running away. But I'm stuck in them positions. Algorand, Matic, which is now Pole. What else? Filecoin, Decentraland, Mana, a few others, AMP, stuck in that one, and a couple others that I'm going to de-risk out of big time. I'm going to de-risk out of those probably 75% or so, and I'll buy other stuff with them. There's new stuff coming out, and I want to be able to buy it, but you need liquidity in order to do that, which speaks on Warren Buffett, if y'all want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Another market. Well, before we even jump into like more market, I do want to give Robbie a chance to share a community update, any product updates, or general Umoja updates that you want to share with the community today.
Yeah, so there are, and guys, I mean, again, you know, one, it's a blessing to have Keith on these calls, just you know, given kind of his insights, one, because just of his background, but two, you know, related to synthetic options on the protocol. I mean, it's related to understanding the market. You cannot use them successfully if you do not understand the market. So I know Keith doesn't do this, but I always like to shout out, if you do want to learn more about how to do what he does teach this. You know, follow him on. And he also has a Discord as well. And Discord, and you know, and I do use with using the protocol myself as a user. But in terms of updates, a lot of big updates. There's been a lot of debate on the core development team as to different aspects of the protocol's tokenomics. You know, the first being the airdrop should work, the second governance, and the third, and you know, so for airdrop, and again, this is all alpha, so this is not even in our documentation. I'm literally updating our docs during this call and throughout the rest of the day to reflect the things that I'm about to say. So for airdrop, everyone's going to have two options. So again, to become airdrop eligible, you have to do something on the protocol itself. Points, it's not emojis, though that may change. We've talked a little bit about that on the team in terms of making those who earn points in the factory airdrop eligible. But right now, it is you have to do something on the protocol to earn airdrop eligibility, and you'll effectively be given two options. One option is that you can instantly redeem your tokens. You will redeem a lesser amount of tokens, so a smaller amount. Or you can stake those tokens and vest them over a period of 30 days. I believe it's 30 days, 90 days, or 180 days. And you will earn 5x more tokens than you would have if you immediately redeemed. Obviously designed to minimize self-pressure on TGE and to reward those that are, holding it down. And so there will be a whole interface for that. And I'll create more videos as to what that interface looks like. And you'll have 31 days to make this decision. So between October 31st and the end of November is when you'll get to make a decision. It's very important that you do make a decision, because after that 31-day period, you effectively lose your privileges to redeem airdrop tokens. And again, this time that I announced this, we'll make everybody's well notified, especially toward the end of that date range. Like, please redeem, because you've earned this. The second thing is mint burn. So, for those who don't know what Umoja is, we provide effortless, low risk, high yield crypto for everyone in the form of smart coins. Smart coins are like liquid staking tokens, right? But instead of them being wrapped staking positions, they are wrapped trading positions, right? So you have one part, collateral, be it BTC, ETH, or SOL, and another part automated trading strategies. And so these low risk, high yield tokens can be minted on the protocol. They'll be out in beta in October, so next month. And after TGE, you will be rewarded with Umoja tokens for minting smart coins. So every time you mint smart coin, you will be getting Umoja rewards. Every time you burn a smart coin, so say you want the Bitcoin that's beneath, YBTC, you will have to burn Umoja. So mint smart coins, earn rewards, burn smart coins, you have to burn Umoja, which makes the overall tokenomics deflationary over time. And so that's a pretty massive update. It changes our dynamics quite a bit. And then the last but not least, we have governance. So governance, if you stake the Umoja token, you will earn smart coins. You will earn things like YBTC, YETH, YSOL. Very simply put, you're basically earning BTC, SOL, and ETH when you stake Umoja, because that's the collateral that's underlying those smart coins, and you can redeem those if you choose. You also earn governance rights. So you accrue governance power over time. For Snapshot, we vote on really, really important things like what's the management fee for the protocol, what smart coin should we introduce next, updates of those, how fees should be redistributed to stakers, all things that effectively increase or decrease your earning potential on the protocol. So I know for those who don't really govern or haven't done so as in the past, I really do recommend that you learn more about the protocol so that you can participate in that way. Also become eligible to the working lottery. So for those who don't know what the working lottery is, for anyone who is a staker, you are eligible to receive rewards every 2 weeks. And as long as you're active within that period of time on the protocol. And this redistributes Umoja tokens as well. And so those are the three things that are happening. They'll be updated into our Gitbook today. And of course, we'll talk more and more about them over time. The very last thing that I do want to say outside of that is that we will have some community sales before TGE. They're being scheduled right now. The approximate token price of those sales will be around 2 cents per token. If not a very, very small amount more, it won't be 3 cents. So if you want to get exposure, help support the community or the foundation, please, participate. If not, no worries. But just want to make everyone aware. And those are the updates there.
Wow, that was thorough. And I feel like you mentioned it. Can you hear me?
Am I not supposed?
I heard you.
I didn't hear Robbie.
Yeah, he roboted again.
Yeah, it was. It's so crazy. It was perfect for his update, and then right after his update, it just rugged him. At
Enough.
A nice screenshot of him smiling. That's
Right?
when he is frozen.
There, he's back.
Oh no, you're back. Oh, okay. It was good for a while. Like your update was great, and then as soon as your update was over, it just started to freeze out on you. Oh, let me drop. Yeah, just gonna do. I'm dropping Carolina Keep. I'm dropping your Twitter profile in chat.
That chat that I sent you, that's a recent thing I just did yesterday. I made a thread of every single simple video I've made to teach with. It's all in that link I just sent you. It's one big humongous thread with an explanation of what each video is, one by one by one.
Okay. Everybody, that's okay. We need to share that with everybody. I'm just trying to figure out a place to drop the link so I can save it.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, that's pinned to my profile on X now. I had an XRP post that I was trying to save that was a 1.5 years old, but at the same time, I think people were tired of looking at it. So because it was accurate, but no one really cares because it's just going down and sideways like everything else. We kind of saw that coming, but that post there has every single video from how to use TradingView all the way up to adding indicators and using them. It's not the super advanced stuff. That's on purpose. I didn't put the super advanced stuff on there. It's the very basic stuff that really everyone should know since they're in this.
Yeah.
You should know the minimum of how to control it, how to put the power in your hands instead of letting someone else do it for you.
At least a minimum of just understanding or having an understanding. I asked a question yesterday and I was like, what is easy DeFi? Is anything considered easy DeFi? But I feel like easy DeFi is just finance. I'm not going to say financial literacy, but like being able to understand markets. Because that's the easiest DeFi. Other than that, after staking, lending, it gets crazy. It gets crazy, the level of understandings that you have to even like digest half of what people are saying. That's one thing I liked about crypto. It made me have to pay attention to stuff I never even thought about.
You know what I like about DeFi is it replaces the horrible people who run banks. The problem is the people who build this stuff aren't exactly MIT graduates. You can copy and paste a DeFi program pretty easily, and they get hacked all the time and they get manipulated all the time. And that's kind of exactly what a bank is, isn't it? So what did we really solve? I like DeFi because it takes us away from the banks, but you have to understand a minimum of economics. Like I'm borrowing and I'm staking something, AKA collateral, to get more cash that I can then spend somewhere else, but I have to make a payment in order to do that. People can't even make their car payments.
Yeah.
How are we expecting them to learn DeFi?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do remember when I did my first DeFi loan, I felt like a new person when I was myself a loan off my own collateral. I was like, bank who?
I did the same thing. I used to have a partnership agreement with a DeFi guy. I don't have that anymore. But he went so far down the rabbit hole and has yet to come back out of it. But I don't say it doesn't work. It works. It's just so deep. And I don't think that I think most people have the care to learn it that much at this point.
I think it's
maybe that changes.
I think it's like not even people don't care. I think it's a capacity of what we expect people to pay attention to or like absorb, and people just pick what they feel like they can best do well at. And that's why, like someone said, if you want to onboard, why are we not onboarding our friends and families? We should get them to buy NFT. I was like, my mom's about to buy no damn JPEG. She can be like, and then do what with this?
Yeah.
And then to it, like, what? She's not going to do that. If anything, she may join like a high yield thing or sign up for a high, some kind of savings account. But other than that, like when it comes to that kind of expectation of people for mass adoption, it's just not going to happen.
Agreed.
It's going to happen for my son for sure. Like he's going to grow up in it. He's 5 now. Well, he turns 5 in 2 weeks, but I feel like his generation is going to have the experience of what we're saying or what we think is going to happen with as far as like the mass consumption or, the mass adoption. It just probably sucks to say it because it means that we won't be a part of that or like maybe see or reap the benefits. But I do feel like it's going to be so crazy to see how my son's generation is interacting with blockchains and different technology and how they think about it and what they see. That's exciting for me. Like we're building something that kids can come on and be like, and do some other stuff with it. Cause this is still like the infrastructure.
You know, what's interesting about what you just brought up, the gaming aspect of it, which everyone likes to be hyper bullish on all the time. But both of my sons could give a crap about what I do. I try so hard to get them to come in here and listen. And I've brought them in here before and they'll give me 5 or 10 minutes, but that's pretty much it. Now, what they do like to do is play video games with their friends. If you can accurately and correctly generate a system where you're playing video games and earning a crypto that's not a scam or that's not made in 5 minutes by some random company, if you can accurately do that and have it to where any kid can earn some crypto and then you teach them how much money they could make, oh my gosh, you'll have a banger of a setup. But everything I've found so far is extremely difficult for you to earn. And if you do earn, you earn pennies for your time. You're better off not doing it and just playing to have fun. Mm-hmm. So it takes the fun out of the game. That's the problem. They want to play it because it's fun, not because they earned anything. Except a skin. They want a new skin for their gun or for their stupid board or whatever they're playing.
Yeah.
We put on 2K and I'll beat the hell out of them. They don't want that heat. They want to play Roblox and Minecraft and all this other crap. Yeah, they don't want to get on Madden with me. I'm like, we could play for. That's the other thing. You could make a casino kind of thing where you play NBA 2K for 20 XRP, and you have to put 20 XRP in the pot and play 2K, right? Can't disconnect, can't quit, none of that, right? That could happen, and I think it will happen. And that's where I think our kids will really have a big push when we move into the next sector where they can play and earn for playing video games, and it's more like that, more of a gamble. I think that entices them more to do it, and that's crazy. But unfortunately, my 2 knucklehead boys kind of showed me that.
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right. That's why Sony launched their own L2, right? Yeah, Sony knew that it does not make any sense for us to have all of this network activity across our many millions of users on any particular chain. We just want that value for ourselves. Let's launch. I mean, again, once or ranks or all that type of stuff is fungible across games, like people are going to be, I mean, people are already gaming to live right now. I mean, it's a profession now. I mean, imagine, it's going to be.
Yeah, we can joke about esports, but I've watched it on ESPN myself.
I know in Korea, tournaments are like in stadiums.
Yeah, man.
Wild.
They had one in the Sphere in Vegas. The Sphere in Vegas had an esports tournament. Crazy. I mean, it's $250,000 just to rent the place for a day. Yeah. And y'all got gaming going on? Like, dang.
Yeah.
How much to rent for a day?
$250,000 a day.
What?
The UFC is going to have their Mexican Independence Day pay-per-view card at the Sphere. $17 million what they're paying for that.
Damn, that's
it's $250,000 to rent the outside of the Sphere for a day.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
But everybody knows what it is. And everybody's going to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The whole city will see it.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
And if they don't rent it, they just put emojis on it and goof off. And everybody sees it anyway. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is one of the nicest. It's one of the nice experiences that I've been to for sure. I just went.
They were building it when I went.
Your family will love it so much.
Really?
Even just their, because they have like a default like documentary, type of lived experience that you can go to. But of course, now they're doing concerts and stuff like that. But it's very unique. I've never, because it's not like IMAX and that. Like it's had the clarity of the video in the sphere, and the thing is, heats and they got wind and
Oh wow.
water, and they got it's pretty damn cool. I can't even imagine what a concert would look like, or like a gaming tournament. That would be almost overwhelming. But it was really cool. I definitely recommend it. But cool, Kareem. Talk about.
No, no. That was it for today. Other than, I don't know if y'all saw Near Protocol, like, kind of played a prank on the timeline, or they had like this intern letter that they came out with, but it ended up being like a call to action at the end for their program. So in the beginning, you're reading it and you think that like they're addressing a crisis issue, but really it's just a spoof. And so there's like conversation on the timeline about whether it was cringe or whether it was a good idea, um, or whether, like what, like, if it was like positive for them. So that's something really interesting happening right now. I don't really know how they're dealing with the feedback. I think it was horrible, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just like that's what a meme coin would do, and not an actual company. Um, but someone else said any attention is good attention, and now people are talking about Near, and they weren't talking about Near, so it could be a good thing. Like, but I don't. Yeah, that was. I don't know, you guys. I don't know if y'all
Well,
seen it.
I'll say both my boys would say that would be cringe. Um, but they hate it when I talk like they hate it when I talk like them. So, for specifically, if they go back and watch this, it was cringe. Um, but again, if you're talking about them and you weren't before, did they lose? Now, say the backfire of that is Bud Light. When you lean away from your target audience and then start trying to appeal to people who may not be your target audience just for money, people notice that the world's changed a little bit. Marketing ain't what it used to be. So you can't just constantly appeal to new people. You got to hit your home. You got to stay to your home base too. If you don't stay to your home base, they will walk away. So sure, we're talking about them now, but are we talking about them in a positive light and moving forward? Will we talk about them in a positive light? Will we take them serious? How can you expect to be taken serious if you're not serious yourself?
Yeah.
Sometimes jokes are fun. Don't get me wrong. I like a good joke. But when you're talking serious, there's a time for business and there's a time for fun. I think everybody knows that. And the business side ain't always easy and fun. So I like the idea. I don't know if they pulled it off correctly or not, but I saw what you were talking about too. And I was like, man, really? That was my answer.
Yeah, yeah, because I read it and then towards the end I was like, "Is it a call to action?" Like, I thought this was a real letter at first.
Yeah.
It's for
Yeah.
their hackathon that they're hosting. Very interesting, like, play by blockchain to get people knowing, but the intern meta is something that resonates with people in crypto, and it does do pretty well with other companies. So I'm guessing that it was it. I'm just, I think also, like, I hope that they make the experience of the hackathon just so cool, or like expose people to, because that's the way that you're going to be able to retain these people that are coming. You have to impress them when they get there. Otherwise they will leave immediately. They'll come, but then, like, if you don't impress them with what they can do on Near, like with the money, I don't know, then like at the end of the day, they're just going to roll back out and go back to the blockchain they were building on. But yeah, that was fun meta of the week. Other than that, the word for today is the factory. I put it in the chat like 30 minutes ago, but it's just capital T, the second word, factory, capital F. You go ahead and go to umoja.xyz/the-factory, and you put that secret code in the team meeting quest, and you'll redeem some points. Other than that, that is it for today. There are no crazy questions, or no, I don't think any announcements other than that. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Alrighty.
No. All right, guys.
No.
Peace.
Bye, y'all.